will be investigated for an incident that happened throughout qualifying. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, my predictions probably going to be, I'm going to stay how I said in qualifying. I do think that Nicholas will take the race win. I think Zerd will give him a good run for his money, but I think he'll be second. And Buemels, I actually saw Buemels and Nicholas have a battle. It was a few weeks ago now, but it was in Germany, and they absolutely went toe to toe, and Buemels actually won. So who knows? Let's see. On the outside, you're in big trouble. And here they are now. Lights are on. In a second, there we go. They're on now. 2, 3. It's so excited to get underway with the Chinese Grand Prix here in the Rwagnation League, and immediately there is no delay here now as Brownie and Nicholas are actually going to be staying exactly how they are. Brownie managed to get a really good solid start there, and Zerd's already fallen down the order quite traditionally. Nicta and Buemels are there scrapping side by side as Zerd's trying to get on the inside of this, but now turn 2's happened, and he's now on the defensive. He's got nowhere else to go. Bika is trying his best to get involved in this situation, but yeah, he's going to stay P6.
Nice start then for Buemels, already up 2 positions from his original qualifying. There goes Nick10 on the inside of turn 6. I did say that was going to be a hot spot, but lovely undercut there from Buemels. A lovely cutback rather to retake that third position. Longate right on Brownie's case then as they chase each other through 7 and 8 all the way down to turn 9. And Brownie needs to be getting away with that softer tyre compound that he's got on to make his tyre strategy work. Mizzo is being chased by Meester as well. Oh, that's the Mercedes off. Is that Zerd that's gone off? Huge snap of oversteer there on the exit of turn 10, and that is indeed Zerd that's now dropped himself down through the field. Damage on that car, I wouldn't be at all surprised. He shot off to the left-hand side of the track. That is a disaster for him, down to 11th now.
And whilst that happened, we did see a change of race lead as we went in towards the hairpin. Nicholas has now taken race lead. There's also a change further down as well as Mace has gone down the inside. Beautiful stuff from him. Going to get on board there with Zerd, who's also trying to catch up to Copy. He might be able to make something happen on the home straight. Brownie's really falling down the order now as Buemels has actually managed to get past him as well. They're still close together though. Brownie might be able to hold out through turn 1, but no, he backs out. And Nickton might be able to try something as well, but I think it's going to stay how it is at least for a few more corners.
Buemels did for it. And Bika has lost a spot. He's fighting. He's lost a spot ahead of Real Gooby. Is right alongside him on the exit of turn 4. Can the Ferrari manage to fend off the... nearly did it again, Force India. And just about does so before they get to turn 6. But Hazard's gone through, and Bika, he's got to get shot of those tyres unless he's going to try and string that out for a medium set. It's not. Oh, that was what I was saying. You can do a move down there into turn 8. Wow, Gooby's definitely had his Weenie Bix for breakfast. He is hanging on to this one through turn 10 as well. Gets shoved wide. Firm but fair from the Ferrari. Bika does defend it, and the Racing Point now going to dive on the inside of 11 and still can't get the move done. Bika defending brilliantly well. Now as they come into 12 and through 13, surely Gooby is going to pick up this one after they get to what we're probably going to get the position. Yep, he's not even going to get DRS open, and he's already alongside the Ferrari. That just goes to show how little rubber is left on Bika's side. It doesn't come in soon. They are going to explode as Gooby then returns to the racing round
now. As Meester, like you said, is outside of the DRS range on Zerd. And this is it right here. The exit of the corner is going to be so much better for Yoltek now. The slipstream is going to be so powerful. He's already in mode 4. And now that's the activation line. He's got the wing wide open. Meester's trying to shake the slipstream a little bit. It's too late now. Nothing you can do will help this. He pushes it right to the grass there. Somehow Yoltek manages to keep it together. Locks up just a touch there going through. And Meester ends up going wide as a result. And Yoltek is now up in P4. But Meester's coming back at him. He's going to get past him. Absolutely incredible. Big loss to the back end there, and now he's losing the order as it's just scrambling everywhere. And you can see now Yoltek is going to lose that place to Copy, who manages to get both of them in that one section. And Mason, what happened? It fell apart.
The one I've just mentioned, Buemels was just chilling, only about 8 minutes long. Go on.
Oh, there's actually Gooby and Toto are actually going side by side as they come through it, and there's also Yon getting involved in this as well. Now we saw Toto and Nickturn have an issue earlier on in the race. We saw Nickturn retire as a result of that, and I've had it confirmed as well that his front right wheel was off, but Gooby getting a much better run round that long right-hander on these brand spanking new tyres means he's able to gain the place on him. Yon's going to be slipstreaming Toto as well. Toto actually didn't get any DRS on that at all, but somehow he's managing to keep the pace alongside here now. This is going to be a tough one as we see a little bit of contact between Toto and Jorn. Toto is going to stay ahead just about, but Jorn, oh, he let him go.
The hard tyres will now start to struggle somewhat. Brownie and Falsetti having a bit of a fight on the exit of turn 6. The Ferrari's got the time he needs. Can he get past the McLaren? Yes, he can. And the Williams, Goppy is right in there as well. So Falsetti on his failing, aged hard tyres has lost the spot for the Ferrari.
He's on the softs. So if he is going to go all the way to the point of going to the softs.
Copy Falsetti for 7th. Sorry to cut you off there, Braggy. They're side by side, still coming through 3. The Williams has been biding his time behind the McLaren all the way down the straight through 1 and 2. Still side by side Falsetti. He's not letting it go. The Williams forced to the inside of turn 6. And that is job done. Can the McLaren come back underneath? Meester is now right in there. But Williams isn't too far behind, and already that's Meester going for the inside of turn 7. And that was very opportunistic. He's brave though, the McLaren doing everything he can. I wouldn't be surprised if he chooses softs at this stage just to try and nick the fastest lap. Not that he'll get any points for it, but he'll just try and do something. Yep, it's soft tyres on the Renault. So he's just out there to see what he can do. Rainbow and Shadows and Dust are having a scrap as well. And Beaker and Yawn as well for 11th. Oh, commentator curse on the Ferrari just as I mentioned that. He's binned it at turn 10, facing the wrong way. There goes his teammate Brownie. So, yep, that's the end of Beaker's day, essentially. Surely that's just going to be an easy pass from Chilling if he could just hold on. And whilst we were talking about that, Nicholas Longuet has taken the win by 14.7 seconds over third. And surely this is going to be an easy pass for Just Chilling on Buemos, where the Renault staying to the inside line but cannot keep the Alfa Romeo behind. Third takes second, Mizzo third.
Buemos went for a really good cut on the corner. He tried to get the inside. I thought he was going to go straight into the side of Just Chilling. But no, all for nothing as Buemos will lose the place. He will take 9th, but still, that was absolutely incredible. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for the F1 race here in Azerbaijan. I'm Ben Rwagnation, and joining me on the caster's desk is the incredibly talented JessGames95. How are you doing?
I'm really excited for this Baku race. How are you?
Well, I mean, we just had the F2, and it was incredibly close. It was really exciting to see the way they were battling, and really enjoyed it. So yeah, look forward to this F1 race. Third is currently leading the driver standings with 68 points, with Mizzo, who has a qualifying ban for this race, is there in second place. We are going to be losing a Red Bull driver, so Nicholas Longuet will not be competing in the Rwagnation League furthermore, purely down to esports issues, so nothing further than that. But leading the constructors is Mercedes at the minute with 86 points. Williams are currently sat there in 54, and McLaren are hot on their heels with 45. There is the track they're going to be driving around today. Obviously, we are using the soft, medium, and hard compound tyres. There's going to be lots of overtaking opportunities on this track. We know the long back straight after ping pong is a major opportunity for overtaking. In fact, speaking of which, we did see this Overspeed and the Chronicle Pug having a good battle there previously, going through 1 and 2, and they managed to get around the outside just nicely indeed. Overspeed really took it to him, trying to give everything to it, and he ultimately, that's how it panned out. Turn 8, 9, 10 and 11 is where we saw battles going on, where I was involved as we go through Castle in towards the rest of the track breaks. Tons of mistakes can easily be made there. We are now loading up for the qualifying of this Grand Prix. Now, Jess, I can only apologise. I mean, I say it every time. I apologise as if I mean it. I do mean it, but at the same time, I don't mean it when I apologise. So, what's your top 3 prediction for qualifying?
Because I haven't seen the last few races due to other things going on in my life. It's a tough one to call, actually. I would have to say Zerd, P1 for full take pole. Then I'll do Martin G second, and I'm going to put Mizzo third. Just a bold statement. I don't know how they've done this season, so don't have a clue. I only know what's gone on in the first Australia race.
I'll let you redo your third place pick after I give you this information, because my apologies, I should have informed you. Both Brownie and Mizzo both have qualifying bans due to penalty points
right.
accrued. So you have to take Mizzo out of your P3, unfortunately.
Right. Ooh. I would have to go for. Oh, I'll say Brambles. Brambles could have a good shot, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. It can happen in qualifying.
Yeah, anything can happen in qualifying. That's what makes it so exciting. But this man here that I'm on board with right now, Yoltek, I met this guy a couple of days ago, and honestly, he blew me away with how incredibly talented this kid is. I mean, he's literally 15 years old, and he drives like an absolute professional. And I want to see him push himself even further in the F1 side of things. Really take his knowledge again from the other day and just push himself even further. We saw him when I was commentating for him for AOR. He managed to get his first race win in AOR. It was incredible. His pace was just next level. And I think everything he learned over the last few days, I think he's really going to chuck it down today. Do I think he's going to get P1 today in the qualifying? No, I don't. I think Martin G actually is going to take P1 today, purely based on the fact of I've actually caused Zerd to have some sort of mental block on himself, where he just seems to not really have the pace anymore. And I don't know exactly the cause, other than commentator's curse, but Martin G is the one person I can live up to. I can always say he's the guy you can rely on. His pace is consistent. He's quick. There's no doubt about it. And hopefully today, hopefully Baku is the track that works out for him. I'd love to see him get himself a race win. He definitely deserves it, but there are a lot of other talented drivers. So my top three is going to be Martin G, at Nickturn, and then Yoltek.
Okay, so you're going for Martin the same as the top three. I actually completely forgot about Nick Turn. I thought I missed him in the lineup there, but yeah, another strong pick from Nick Turn. Obviously, he done well last season as well, so he could be one to watch. And he's a very good battler I've seen in races recently, so looking forward to seeing what he can do. And a mixture tyres fitted at the moment, with quite a few people on the softs and quite a lot of people on the hards. Starting on the softs could be a bit of a gamble, but hards could be the tyre that most people will use in the race, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very fair shout there. Now, I actually want to go on board with Zerd, as he is starting a hot lap. So let's go ahead and do our hot lap run here in Baku. So, very hard braking zone in towards turn 1. Don't want to run too wide. He's done okay there. He's kept it just about together. Now brake again in the lead up to turn 2. Make sure you get a good run out of this corner, as it is another long DRS straight right the way down towards turn 3. Turn 3 is quite a tough one, because you need to get the right amount of trail braking in order to make sure you keep yourself out of the wall, but also make it so you get the rotation going round. As you can see, a little bit of a lock up there from Zerd, but nothing too tragic. Now in towards turn 4. Nicely, just avoid that curb. You don't want to touch that curb. You can very easily lose control of your car there. Now turn 5 and 6, a very quick chicane. This one's a bit tighter than the entry, but still Zerd makes it look very easy and very surgical indeed. Now coming up towards turn 7, this is one where you want to just get on that curb a little bit. It doesn't really destabilize you in any way, but this is 8, 9 and 10, which is the castle section. Tons of mistakes can easily be made there. We saw in the official F1 this year where there was a big crash between Kubica, and then on a separate occasion we also saw Leclerc do a similar thing as well. So Zerd's still charging. This is the mini ping pong, as I like to call it, because if you hit one wall, you're going to ping pong off to the other wall. Nice braking zone here. It's quite a hard one. You need to make sure you don't lock up the tyres, because if you do, you are in that wall and you will lose wing. This is the most important corner on the track now, as you need to get the best exit you can possible, as you're going to be charging through the actual ping pong, which is here, ping, and now pong, and then leading onto the DRS straight for the home straight to come home with a really solid lap time. And I'm hoping he doesn't chuck himself into the pits now that I've said this. No, he's still going strong. So this is going to be official. He's going to go P4 with a 140.206, and that is on hard compound tyres.
Quite a lot of people are pretty much closer together on the hards already, so it's going to be interesting to see how close this qualifying is. Bremel's another person to cross the line. Is he going to join? He's
Oh.
P2, so that is a good lap from Bremel in the Renault. He must be liking this track. He was so committed going through that towards that final straight. He did say he had to get it right, and that's what he did. And the only person to beat him is Nick Turn, who's on the soft compound tyres, 138.5. So Bremels, if he gets his act together, he could be on for a very good finish in this Grand Prix. And Martin G. Studes is still doing well as well in P3 with a 139 as well. Obviously, there's still banker laps where there's still about 3 or 4 people still to set a lap time, and possibly people might decide to go onto the mediums if they're lucky. But very proud with how Bremels is doing, and also how the top 4 are just so committed to their laps and then trying to avoid the castle section.
Yeah, absolutely. Forseti again, a nice, good, quick time in there. It's still almost a second down on Nick Turn, but he's right up there in P2. I mean, he doesn't want to start on the soft compound tyres, that's for sure. You want to really be on the mediums if you can, because doing the one-stop from mediums to hards is the ideal strategy. The softs really do just crumble on this track, and that is, that's not something you really want to afford to have going around this track. If you lose a little bit of control of your car and just chuck yourself into the wall a little bit too deep, you will end up with a broken wing, and then you're going to have an unexpected trip to the pits anyway. So let's get yourself on the mediums. Let's make sure you're nice and cozy going through. Copy's decided to come back into the pits after, I'm not sure exactly what happened. He's not run out of fuel. He just seems to be really struggling with the car a little bit. So back into the pits, reset himself for another push, and we'll see what he can deliver next time round.
Yeah, but he hasn't got very long to do so, and since he actually started on the soft tyre, it depends on what option he set when we started this lobby, because if he went for the harder option, there isn't going to be enough softs to play with. He'll only one more lap to get a competitive stop him in, or he might just choose a harder option because he may want to go on to the mediums, or he doesn't want to go on the softs altogether, knowing that the softs won't last very long at all. Basically, the softs are like the ultra softs or the hyper softs in last year's game, so if you think of that, they are absolutely very, very hard. And Shadows and Dust, I think, is fitted on the medium, so the first guy onto the medium tires. I think everyone else is going into the pits, but I can see Yeltek on a flyer, but knowing him, he'll probably dive into the pits anyway, like I follow everyone else. But can we see him do what Raggy said and get into a good top 5 position? Only just, he's in P6 and just behind Martin G. So impressive from Yeltek already.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the hard compound runners, right, take out the soft times because obviously they are going to be exceptionally fast anyway. But if you just look at the hard runners, the gap from P3 onwards is so marginal, right down to sort of P9. You're literally talking 0.7 of a second. And even when you get to Yonti, that's only when he gets to 0.8. It's when you get to Beaker, it's a bit further out than that. But that's just, it's so closely knit right now. I want to see what they can do when they do move on to the mediums, which I'm almost certain they will. Are they going to be able to really push themselves to the limit? Are they going to be able to see a medium tyre on P1? I don't think so, if I'm honest, but it would be really good. I'm just praying. I'm really hopeful to see Yoltek deliver exactly what I've pitched him up to do, hype him up to be a really fast driver, and we'll see if he can do it. I'm also watching Hazard, who's currently on a flyer.
Yep, he's currently 15th at the moment, has not set a lap time, and he's just going through to now going through the dreaded castle section, and he's one that's also looking to improve as well. And we've seen with other drivers go in the past where we see them not so good to start with, and then they start to improve so much they just become unstoppable. Maybe we'll see Yeltek like that. I do agree with you. I really hope he gets a good result in the Rwagnation League. He deserves one after so long, he's worked so hard, but we haven't seen what Hazard fully is capable of yet. We know Hazard has got a few penalties from last week's race. Hopefully he could be penalty-free this race, but I've seen in past Baku races, a lot of people get penalties, so it is no harm done. But anyway, Hazard is going to set his flyer now. We'll have to wait and see if he's faster than anybody else. He's on overtake mode on ERS at the moment, and it is a 1:41.0, which puts it stays in P13 for now, so not quite as fast as I expected, but I'm sure he'll probably find a few more seconds than that if he wants to get into the top 10.
Yeah, he's going to need to. I think that's the only thing he can really do is just find that little bit of extra time. Luckily, he's not going to be qualifying on these tyres, or at least he's definitely not going to try to. He shouldn't be. So regardless of that, he's got the opportunity to be quick. But I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this for as long as he doesn't improve it. Hazard is someone who cannot deliver in the qualifying, right? It's definitely his weak point, but his strong point is he's absolutely clean, he's absolutely consistent for the most part, right? And by clean, I mean penalty-wise. He doesn't often get penalties, he doesn't often cut corners, he doesn't often get involved in collisions, and whenever he does, he seems to be able to bring himself back into the mix again. So you'll see him jump loads of places when it comes to the end of the race, when everyone else's penalties to take into account. But the thing he has to think about is, if the other drivers around him clean their act up, his caveat, if you like, is gone. He's not really going to be able to jump up a fair few places anymore, because one thing he was really good at doing has now just been matched by everyone else on the track. And he needs to find a way to improve his quali pace, and he needs to do it quickly.
I think he's one of those people that wants to try and avoid people's mistakes and keep cautious on the first lap, and then as soon as the chaos has died down a bit, that's where he can start to really push. But I do agree, it does get to a stage where the handling gets better for most people. I found that as well, actually. There was a few people that were slow in the last game, but are incredibly quick in the new game, and starting to pick up the pace a bit, and that's dropped me down a few paces as well. So I can't believe the game has changed for a few drivers in the way the handling works. Some people are doing better, some people are doing worse, and some people are just staying exactly like they are, like Nidturn right now. He's still doing quite incredible and showing he's the man to be at the moment. Still in the pits right now, as he's going to wait for a good time to go on his final lap. He'll probably stay on the softs. I think Borsetti is on another flyer on the softs as well, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do and to see if he can bump it up. 139, not a good lap on the softs, I would say. I won't be surprised if we see a 137 pop up anytime soon, and if that will have to go to someone, I'll probably have to go to Nidturn, I think, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, absolutely, completely agree with that. And you're right about the majority of drivers that have been struggling in the past. There he is. That's what we wanted to see. Borsetti with a 1:38.204 puts himself provisional pole. Now, if he manages to keep that time good and proper, if he doesn't actually have to go out, he will have to go out again because there's still 5 minutes 25 remaining of the session, and the track will evolve massively in that time. And considering he's only 3/10 ahead of Nidturn, who's currently sat in the pits ready to go again on some fresh softs, he's going to struggle. But if Borsetti can ride this momentum, if he can continue delivering this level of pace, is very easily going to be a pole sitter today. And it would be great to see, because he's not had that before. He's never had a situation where he has been exceptionally quick in comparison to the other racers in the league. In both times he's qualified for the Rwagnation League, so in Season 2 and Season 3, he only just qualified. He was just about in order to actually secure his spot for this league, which was phenomenal. He's really done enough to get in there, and it would be the real underdog story to see Borsetti take a pole position today. But in reality, there are a lot of other drivers around, and Nidturn, who's the only other driver who's looking like he's trying the soft compound tire, he is looking really dead set on beating that time, just waiting for him to come out of the pits and deliver whatever that may be. We are, however, in what I like to call the camp for the storm, where majority of the drivers are in the pits, prepping themselves for their final push, just choosing the tyres and choosing the amount of fuel they want to go for. Do they want to go for a 1 lap? Do they want to go for a 2 lap? I guess we're only going to see if they come out in the next sort of 10-15 seconds. We'll know they're going for 2 laps. If they come out in about a minute or so, we know they're only doing a 1-shot quali.
Yes, and they make sure they need to get their laps in just right. And Shadow and Dust he's got no time on the board, so he really needs to get his act together. I do believe that's why he's out, and also Just Chilling is out as well. Bremels is coming out as well, so they're going to have advantage of free traffic, which is, I think, is very key around here. As Baku is very tight, is very windy, and very easy to get wrong. As Just Chilling, I think, is diving into the pits. I think he is going to probably go his final shot, but if you come out in free traffic, that's really going to help you, and you're least likely going to get involved in getting held up in some traffic, which is going to be a lot harder. So Bremels, I think, has made the right decision, but the track will evolve towards the end, so it is a little bit of a compromise there. But there may be some people, like I've seen in other races, where they all come out at just the wrong time, like all at the same time at the wrong time, and that will make the difference between either getting pole or not getting pole. So
yeah, exactly that. So this man here, Buemels, this guy in the end of 2018 didn't really show much signs of incredible pace, right? He was good, don't get me wrong, he was a very quick driver, but he was not anybody you would shout about. You wouldn't write home to your parents and say, look how amazing this guy is, I want to see him deliver more. This now, in F1 2019, Buemels has completely changed characters. He does not seem to be the same person he was in 2018. This guy has insane levels of pace. He's competing with esports level drivers for race positions. Do you know what I mean? That's insane. I've never seen him do this, and I want to continue seeing that. As it stands, he's the fastest driver that was on the hard compound tyre. He's now out doing, I can only imagine, doing 2 laps on these medium compounds. And if he can deliver the same level of performance he did on the hards, I think we might be seeing him up there with the soft runners.
I really do hope so, and I do believe he's on a pad as well, or is he on a wheel?
No, he's on a pad. He's on a pad.
Yeah, and there's not many on a pad in the Rwagnation League, only quite a few people, and I tried racing on a pad in Baku, and believe me, it is hard. So respect to people that are playing on a pad and want to try and give this a go and try to avoid a wall. And I think Buemels is doing that and showing that it is possible to race in Baku on a pad, really. So you don't really need the necessary equipment to do that. You need enthusiasm, and that's what Buemels is showing, as everybody is starting to go out now, apart from Shadow and Dust that is still in the pits. It is going to be crunch time now, as we've only got a minute left of qualifying.
We do indeed. So Buemels is absolutely charging down the home straight. This is going to be the first medium tyre run that we're going to see for the session. Is it going to be quick enough to get himself in P1? It's looking good. It's looking like he's going to take P3 still. But look how close he is to end Nick Turn's time. And that was on soft compound tyres. So 1:38.593 for Buemels. Yes, he sits P3. But realistically, if they were all on mediums, he'd be sat P1 right now.
Yeah, if you think about that, there's not much of a delta between the softs and the mediums anyway, in this game anyway. So if Buemels can keep doing like what he's doing in the race, then he's going to gain quite a lot of positions, because the softs will start to die. I can't remember when they start to die, but I think it's about lap 7 or 8 where they really start to lose a bit of grip, whereas Buemels could say, see you later, I'm getting that position, and that will really help with the overcut in the pit stops. But we're starting to see everyone that's going on their fly. I think Buemels, I think he is either slowing. No, I think he's not going to get another lap in, I don't think, because he's on low ERS. But quite a lot of people on the fly, and I think Copy is getting a tow from Nick Turn there, which kind of helped him now. 1:39.0. He can't improve. Forsetti's binned it, and he cannot improve on this. And I think Zerd has done the same. They've done a little bit of a car park. That is interesting. There's a few people still out, ready to set their final lap time. We've got Bjorn that's coming off the line now. What can he do? 1:38.5. That puts him P3. Not that very from Nick Turn's time. Nick Turn is still out though, still on the soft compound tyres. Watch out for those medium runners. They're going to try and give Nick Turn a run for his money.
Yeah, indeed. Jon really putting some pace in there. 1:38.582. It's so close between him and Buemels. But here's Jonty now, about to come across the line. Is he going to get up there as well? He's not. He's going to stay P7. I mean, he did improve by half a second, but it wasn't enough to get much further up. So, he is...
G's faster.
Is he going to do it?
Is he going to do it? He's going to cross the line. Ooh,
P8.
He improved on his time. How about Nick Turn? He is going to start of sector 3 now. We're seeing what the others can do. Yeltek, he cannot improve. Just chilling. I think he's going for the same corner as Nick Turn. So I think Nick Turn's the furthest on the lap. So let's follow him. He could be the only one to challenge Forsetti for pole. This could be it for him. He's got to make a lap of his life, really. I didn't see what his lap was like in sector 2. But is it going to be enough to beat Forsetti? Yes, it is. 1:37. I did say someone will go to the 1:37s, and I did say it was going to be Nick Turn, so I did get at least one prediction right in that sense, but not the quality prediction. But what a lap, Nick Turn. But well done to Jon for getting a very good lap on the medium tyres. This is going to be a very good race.
It's going to be insane, absolutely. But here is the rundown after the qualifying session. So Nick Turn and Forsetti, they take the front row of the grid. They both did it on the soft compound tyres. and then we get to the nitty-gritty a little bit further down. Yawn, who is the fastest medium runner today, very closely followed by Buemels in P4, with Zerd in 5th, Copy in 6th with Yonti in 7th, Martin G takes a solid 8th place, with Beaker there in 9th, Just Chillin taking 10th with Yoltek in 11th, Shadows and Dust takes 12th with Gooby in 13th, Hazard 14th, Rainbow 15th, and then the two gents with the Quali Ban, Brownie and Mizzo. Now, we can't take them out of the equation, right? They are incredibly fast. The issue they're going to have is they have to make their way through the grid, and it's not an easy track to do that. Yes, you have the slipstream, yes, you have the DRS, but you're also in a situation where if you don't make it happen on that lap, you are pretty much going to have to wait for the rest of the lap before you can have another crack at it. You do have an opportunity between turns 2 and 3, and there is, real sort of like push there as long as you can get it. But if you make a mistake in the braking zone of turn 3, you are absolutely going to have major nightmares, and you can't afford to lose wing on this track. You make a slight mistake and lose a bit of wing, you're going to have a hell of a race, and it's just not going to work out for you at all. So, with that in mind, Jess, obviously you've seen qualifying, you've seen the pace everyone else is checking down, and I do want to point out that obviously in quali, it's easy to do the hot laps, right, in comparison to your race pace. In race pace, you've got a lot more endurance. You really have to deliver time and time and time again. You can't afford to make mistakes, otherwise you'll fall further behind. And that's why you see the likes of Meister, who's not racing today. You see Martin G, Zerd, etc. really get it to the top. But what's your P3, top 3 prediction, for the race?
It would be easy to say at a Nick turn, but to be honest, he's on the soft tyre, so he's going to have a little bit of a disadvantage compared to everybody else. But I say that he's only going to drop back a few positions. I would say I'm going to do reverse. I'm going to say Nick turn. I'm going to say P3. I'm going to say Martin G P2, and I am torn between Yawn and Bremels, but I am going to go on a bold prediction. Since Yawn is able to be qualifying the faster the medium runners, I'm going to give Yawn a P1. Right, that's probably a bold prediction, but we'll have to wait and see. As we'll say, he's another person on the soft, so he's probably going to go way down the field, but you never know.
Now, I have just seen that Yoltek left the session. It looked like his game crashed, so I'm not sure if they're going to go for a restart or not.
I will check whilst this formation that goes on. I will check the stewards chat for you guys so you'll be informed.
We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye out for the rest of the drivers. Right, so Yoltek has joined, but he doesn't have his car in the game, so he won't actually be able to race unless we go for a restart. We're still waiting to hear from the league coordinators if we are going to go for it. We'll see. As it stands though, we are going to have 17 drivers. We should hopefully have the 18th if it comes back. I mean, where did Yoltek actually qualify? I think he was like 8th, 9th?
Yeah, I think so. So that was put in by Martin G and Beaker. So
where is... Let's have a look where Yawn is. Oh, they're sat on the track still. With Zerd right behind him.
Been qualified with the Mercedes of Martin G, I think it was, or Zerd.
Zerd,
no, it's not Martin G, it's Zerd. So yeah, I'm quite curious because usually if a one person DCs at this early stage, then it's definitely a lobby restart. But I'm surprised it hasn't done it yet. Really.
I wonder if they know. That's the difficulty. I'm just going to message them really quick.
Yeah, because they might not have got their message on. Apologies for the slight issues, but we want to make sure that the drivers have a fair chance of getting into the race and making sure they all have their fair shout. So, as everyone, I think all the drivers are going away to the grid now. If it's going to be the first time or the second time, I don't know. So we will get a clear message pretty soon for you guys.
Just waiting to see in the league chat if they do decide to go for it or not.
Migrating host.
Yep, I think we have decided to go for a restart.
And I think Just Chillin is saying something in chat, so I'm gonna... Yeah, it is a lobby restart.
Perfect. That's good. I'm glad because I was really hoping to see Yalta get something good today, and it'd be really unfortunate to see after such a good start to the actual qualifying, if you like. That it'd be nice to see him actually take that with him all the way through. So we are going to go for a very brief break whilst we get the lobby rehosted. We're just going to play some music for you whilst we get that set up, and as soon as we do, we'll be resuming right where we left off, and we will be needing to do another formation lap. So no damage done, just waiting for that. Be right back very shortly.
just want to know, do you love me? Do you love me? I'm about to blow all my self-control. Do you love me? Do you love me? Can we take it slow? I just want to know, do you love me? Do you love me? I'm about to blow all my self-control. Do you love me? Do you love me? Long days and nights, staying up to the light. I don't think you know how I feel now. I just wanna tell you how I feel now. Come around, girl, and we'll make it right. Give you all of the things that you like. I just wanna tell you how I feel now. Got my eyes on you. 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 Got my eyes on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Apologies for the delay there. We did have some issues with an individual driver's game who crashed, and they couldn't unfortunately rejoin to take part in the race. So, providing that the same thing doesn't happen again, we will be getting back underway with this Grand Prix. Now, Jess, I'm going to give you the opportunity to revise your podium prediction. Would you like to stick with the same honour?
I'm gonna have to. I don't know, because due to the fact there's a lobby restart, everyone will be on fresh tyres. So I am gonna swap around, and I'm gonna put Nick Turn P1, Yawn P2, and Martin G P3.
I mean, Martin G is going to have to really push hard because he's a lot further down than we normally see him, to be truthfully honest. It's looking like Martin G is actually really out of his comfort zone on this track. I don't know if he just struggles with street tracks or if it's just Baku specifically, but we are going to be getting underway now with the formation lap. Here we go. So, for my prediction, obviously we've got Nick Turn and Falsetti that are on those soft compound tyre, which is fabulous. It's good to see. And I'm hoping to see them be able to carry that through and do a one-stop. Now that they have the fresh tyres as well, like you're saying, it does mean that they can really push themselves to do a one-stop a little bit easier. They do gain that extra lap out of them. However, the tyres do still disintegrate on this track, and hards are really slippy in Baku. They take a good 2 laps at least to properly warm up. And so have that being said, I mean, a lot of these drivers will still be going from mediums to hards anyway. It just means that they won't have to go so far on the hards when they do the one stop from mediums to hards, whereas the softs will have to do that. With that in mind, I actually think we're not going to see the usual suspects in the top 3. I'm actually going to go very out of character here, and I'm going to go Buemel's P1.
Nice.
I'm going to go Yawn P2, and I think we're actually going to see Copy take 3rd place today.
I know Copy is good at race pace, so I understand why you would choose him. So very good predictions there, and very different ones as well. So I wonder if any one of us is going to be right this race. I wasn't right in qualifying.
No.
Hopefully I could redeem myself, but that's probably not going to happen, as everyone is warming their tyres now. And just a reminder, for the bottom half, we've got Yeltek, Gooby, Hazard, Rain and Brownlee on the hards, and Shadows and Dust and Mizza on the medium, so that's what they've chosen. And the top 10, they're not going to get away with choosing different tyres. The stewards are looking into their tyre choices, and they have to make the same tyre choices as they set their fastest lap on. So there's no getting away for the top 10.
Yeah. And you being one of the stewards means you can literally see this firsthand, so you know exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
And that obviously plays a factor to it. Oh, I forgot for a second there that they were AI controlled now and gone ghost, and I thought Falsetti was going to drive straight into the side of Yawn, but never mind, it's all good. Disaster averted, and we're about to get underway with this Grand Prix. We are waiting for them to get into their grid boxes. They've already chosen their strategy. They've already chosen the amount of fuel that they're going to be carrying with them throughout. Now, something to keep an eye out is at Nickton usually runs yellow fuel warning light on, so he usually runs just on the limit for the amount of fuel he can take into the race. Whether or not he's going to try that with the fact that he's on the softs, because he really needs to be pulling away with the fact that he's on them, he has to fully utilize that extra grip, especially on this start now. As the lights are on, we are about to get underway with the Baku Grand Prix here in the Rwagnation League, and immediately we're seeing Nickton get away to a beautiful start. Yawn's already alongside Falsetti. Falsetti's getting swamped here as Yawn is trying to go around the outside. He has to back out. Big contact further downfield. That's Copy. He's lost control of the car. He's now dead last. No further incidents have been made on that turn one. We are seeing more cars going around each other. Big contact there. Hazard has been caught up by Rainbow. Rainbow's just trying to get through this. There's nothing more that can happen here. Copy has managed to regain those 2 places. So 15th is where Copy ends up being after the start of the first lap. Martin G and Beaker, they are also squabbling throughout as we come into turn 3. This is usual lap 1 sort of territory here when it comes to these kind of lobbies, and we are still seeing Martin G and Beaker going side by side now through 5 and 6, and it's going to be Beaker against them wide. Oh, I think he kept himself just out of the wall there, but there might be some damage on that Ferrari.
Yes, which is very unfortunate, but look at what Yeltek's just done. Yeltek has had a massive send and was able to gain not 1 but 2 positions from that, which has really helped him in the first lap, which is really going to help him. So he's up into P8 for now, and he's not that far behind Martin G, and Rainbow, I think, has been caught up in a little incident at the back as well. So he's struggling, and he's binned it at the exact same place as Kubica and Leclerc, I think, but he's got away a little bit easier than them, but I don't think that's going to be very good with the car. But we can see Bremels and Falsetti going to be almost side by side going into the start of sector 3 then. Well, they're going to rely on this slipstream at the moment. If it was DRS, it'll be even more powerful. Rainbow is out of the session, but let's follow Falsetti and Bremels going towards the long straight going to sector 3. It is very long, one of the longest straights going into turn 1. We just have to wait and see. Falsetti holds on to the inside line. We got Bremels on the outside, not touching. Bremels almost going off the circuit. They're managing to clean, and going into the start of turn 2 and 3. Falsetti manages to get together and hold on only just, but Bremels he's hungry to have another look. He's on the medium tyres, so it'll probably help him with just a little bit more. Is he going to get the outside this time? Oh, they touch again. But we got Zerd and Yawn into this battle as well. This is getting very tasty in the midfield.
There's 2 battles going on as well, because this battle going on here for P2, and there's also a battle further downfield for the final points position between Just Chillin, Beaker and Yoltek. They are scrapping really hard all the way through. You can see Yoltek is actually the head of these 3. Beaker's managed to make his work done on Just Chillin. Zed is really scrapping there with Wemmels as well, and it's not really changing anything further than that. We are now through the castle section, so there's going to be no changes in position, but we are going to be sizing ourselves up ready for the home straight sprint, and no DRS this lap. We're going to have to wait for the rest of this to be completed before we see any antics going down towards turn 3.
Yes, and DRS is very powerful, so looking forward to seeing that, but they won't get activated until the start of turn 2 and 3, so they won't be able to use it in the DRS shell, unfortunately, as the activation zone is we're still seeing some really huge scraps already, going a little bit ambitious there. We have got, I think, Bremels and Zerd still fighting as well up front, and also Bremels and Falsetti as well, as Bremels is going to have another go at Falsetti going into the start-finish straight, but this time he's going to go to the inside line. He thought that the outside line wasn't going to work out for him, but he thinks the inside line will be better, and he's not. He's still behind Falsetti, and he's got Zerd for company as well. He's got to make a move, because otherwise Zerd can catch him at any minute, and Yawn is also waiting for the opportunity to pounce like a hawk to see if he can make any jumps and say a see you later.
Oh,
Zerd!
Zerd!
Oh, that was huge contact from Bremels and Zerd. And Martin G almost got into that, but he managed to avoid that very well. But I don't know. I think Bremels and Zerd got a few damage from that, as I do believe Bremels is still on the back of Martin G though. But that's going to cost him some time on the mediums. But Falsetti has got a bit of breathing space, not a lot, because Bjorn has still got DRS. Actually, no, he's run out of DRS as well. So Falsetti's definitely got some breathing space right now. But that was close to say the least.
Yeah, it really, really was. I thought there was going to be a massive car pile up there, but no. Somehow, Buemels and Zerd, yes, they have contact, yes, they have rotations, but neither of them got damage. Even Zerd, who ended up punting into the back of Buemels' car. It was nothing more than just a mistake that was made from Zerd. He locked up on the brakes, couldn't do any further than that. Obviously, we'll see if the stewards need to intervene in that or not. But yeah, looking at the rest of the situation on the track, Jorn has really brought himself back up into the mix. He was the fastest runner on the medium compound tyres, and he's already on the back of Falsetti. Race leader Nick Turn is 6.3 seconds clear of P2, but Falsetti has done an exceptional job of defending, and now Jorn is really committed to getting past him. He's actually got his full car ahead. It's whether or not Falsetti can bring himself back into this mix. As we look further down the field, you can also see that Buemels is right there with Martin G. He ends up going around the outside of him. He's got to do the exact same thing going through turn 2, and Buemels actually played that smart. He broke a little bit early just to make sure he got DRS here, so he can just slingshot round turn 2, and nothing further that Martin G can do here except pray that his car is faster. And looking right now, it doesn't seem to be that way. And Buemels has been released. He's now up in a P5. And Jorn has managed to make work of Falsetti and kept it together in P2.
Jorn doing very, very well to try and keep those mediums to the level. And he's now the highest medium runner still after 4 laps, which just goes to show how true his pace is. But Nick Turn is really benefiting from the lobby restart. He's already pulling away 6/10 per gap. And Martin G and still fighting as teammates as well, and I wonder if team orders will come into play. Probably not, as it is early stages of the season, but I know the Mercedes team would want both cars to make it to the end of the race, so strategy will possibly come into play here for both of the Mercedes cars if they want to try and get past Bremelt up into P5.
Indeed, so the stewards have been in touch. They've informed us that lap 3, turn 3, the contact you saw between Zerd and Buemels is under investigation from the stewards. We'll see if there is going to be any sort of involvement on that, if there's going to be a penalty or not. Falsetti's in trouble here. Yonti's really got some pace. He's already going to catch up to him as we come towards the DRS zone, and that's a position gained for Yonti. Falsetti is doing well to stay where he is, but he is looking like he's coming into the pits. He knows these softs are done. It's interesting that he's decided to do it on lap 4, and Nick Turn is still out there and still going strong, very much on an island of his own. Yeah, and he's still pulling away.
Yes, I wonder if Falsetti, due to battling, was able to struggle a little bit more, because if you're not battling, you're able to save your tyres, and that's what Nick Turn's done. Nick Turn had a very good start, and he's able to save his tyres, and that's going to really benefit him for his second stint, whereas Falsetti was pretty much battling from the word go. So. And he must be on rich mix as well, and from experience, rich mix and soft tyres do not mix, and they make you burn your tyres incredibly quickly.
Yeah, they really don't help the situation, especially on this track, which is a track that has a lot of demand from the tyres overall. Falsetti has unfortunately left the session. I think that might be a game issue. We'll hopefully get to see him join back very shortly. The one thing to keep an eye out for is actually Yoltek, who is currently sat P8. Remember, we did say earlier he's had a lot of places gained. He's gained 3 places, and that's great stuff to see him up there in P8. However, he is on the hard compound tyre, and he's on the back of Beaker as it stands. When it comes to the home straight, he will be in a position where he can pass. Now, something else to note, the stewards have been in touch and said a 5-second time penalty for Zerd for causing a collision between Buemels and him will be added to the end of his race. I think that's fair. I think it's just. He did break up quite a lot later, ended up locking up, made a big mistake, and that cost Buemels a lot of places. It is all fair in love and racing, and here is Yoltek sizing up his attack with Mizzo breathing down his neck.
Yeah, Mizzo is going to have the DRS, whereas Yoltek is going to have a bit of DRS as well. but Mizo has just got the better straight line speed. He's going at 213 miles an hour, and he is going to go past his turn one. Almost a bit of touching again from Yeltek and Mizo, but they managed to keep it on the track. They can see Bika right in front as well, but Bika is starting to pull away ever so slightly as well. And we could have also just Chinin going to the mix as well, but he is running on third ERS mode at the moment, so I think he's just keeping up the pace until he can start to catch up to these guys. But Yeltek is keeping it together to make sure he can size Mizo and overtake at the best opportunity and not be too aggressive or too ambitious just yet.
Yeah, indeed. Zerd still on the back of Wemmels. Yes, that 5-second penalty will be added to the end of his race. However, that doesn't stop him from going for an attack on Wemmels at any point in this race. There's a lot of battles still going on as well, as Gooby is actually scrapping with Brownie. Remember, Brownie also had a qualifying ban, so he started in second to last place with Mizo starting dead last. Mizo has had the start that he really needed to be able to deliver and get some solid points for his team and himself in the Drivers' Championship. He's now up into 8th place from, like I said, dead last. So it's good. He's still pushing. He's still closing in on Bika. Yeltek ended up losing that place to him in the end. But remember, Yeltek on the hard compound tyre more than likely will have also filled his car up a little bit more than usual for the fuel as well to help him push. When he gets onto those medium tyres, he can really chuck down the rich mix on the straights. And we know that they're long, so there's going to be tons of slipstreaming opportunities for him. He needs to make sure he has the best car than anyone else on the track.
And in Baku, downforce is really key. So if you don't get the straight line speed going into turn one, that's really going to compromise you for pretty much the start of the lap, really. So that is what these guys need to consider. As we're starting to see that Nick Turn may start to struggle a little bit in the next few laps, but he doesn't seem to be, as he's already gained another second on Yorn. So Nick Turn is probably going to stretch those tyres as long as a medium tyre would if he keeps this up, which is going to be absolutely incredible for him, as the hard tyres, they last quite a long time on this track, and I wonder if Nick Turn is going to push his hard tyres to the limit. And if he's able to pull up a gap between him and Yorn when it gets to the second stint, he could go try for a two-stop and he could do the softs, but it is really entirely up to him to make sure that he gets that strategy working and gets the hard tyres fitted to his car very quickly, get his pit stop now just on, and see what Yorn does as we get into the later stages, as Yorn will be pitting probably a few laps later, as he's struggling a little bit more than Nick Turn is at the moment. A little bit of weave in sector 2 right now.
Yeah, I'm actually watching Zerd and Wemmels' gap. It's actually getting larger and larger. Wemmels is slowly but surely pulling away from Zerd. Zerd is not particularly doing well to be able to keep himself in this battle. He's now outside of DRS range. He's just crept himself back into it again now. 9/10 of a second separate the two. Can he hold that when we come to the detection line? If he can, brilliant. He'll be able to use the DRS to close back up onto Wemmels. Not necessarily overtake him because he's just way too far back for that. Someone who isn't too far back is this man here, Yonti. Breathing down the back of Yorn now. Yorn is going to be a sitting duck as Yonti's carrying so much pace down the home straight. Coming up into turn one, he's definitely going to be on the racing line, feeling very comfortable. Whereas Yorn now will have DRS in the run up towards turn 3. It's just all about the exit of this corner. If he can get the perfect exit, which he hasn't, then he would have been able to attack Yonti, but Yonti has done exactly what is required in order for him to hold on to that position. So really well done there from Yonti.
Quite a surprise from Yonti. I wasn't expecting him to be in the top 3 this early on, but it just goes to show that he's good on race pace and he's able to overtake well on this track. And maybe some people are suited to street circuits a bit more, so we could see him do well in places like Russia, Monaco and Singapore as well. So if Yonti keeps this up, he's going to like those tracks coming up, in particular Monaco, which will be, I think, in about 2 rounds time, well, a round after Spain. So he's going to love that, and he's absolutely flying. But Yorn is still on the back of Yonti, so it is not over yet. And I've just noticed that the gap between Nick Turn and Yonti has dropped down to 6.6 seconds. So Nick Turn, I do believe, will be going to the pits pretty shortly. Otherwise, he's going to lose quite a bit of time to Yonti.
Yeah, those softs are really starting to fall apart now. And I think the fact that he's pushed them this far in the first place, that's just kind of an indicator that he's taken them quite far. He has built up a really good, solid gap, though. It's now just a question of, when he pits, will he be able to manage the 6.2 second gap that he's got? How many laps can these mediums push themselves? Has he taken these softs too far, where he's actually lost way more time than he actually originally anticipated? Because if he has, he's in trouble. He has now chucked himself into the pits, so race leader is in. It's a long way down to the end of the pit lane, as the Nick Turn in the Williams will be right over at the other side. Is he going to go for the hards? Yeah, he is. He's going straight to the hards. So one-stop strategy is what Nick Turn is trying to do, and that was a very quick pit stop. So it might actually have helped him just about enough to be able to stay within the top 10. There's his teammate coming up behind him. I think these guys work really well together. There's no doubt about that. As Copy's made a mistake. He's just ran too far wide in the run-up to turn 2. So he's lost a place to Brownie, and he's lost another place to Gooby. That is not good stuff at all for them two.
No, it is not. Copy, we thought he was going to gain positions, and he's down in 13th. I think he'll probably have to wait till the next pit stop to see if he'll get any effect. Unfortunately, I didn't see that myself, so I'd see what caused that incident, but hopefully you can recover for the next part of the race. Now, the pit stop in Baku, I think Nick Turn is going to be just about enough to make sure he still gains the lead from the guys in front, which is just what he needs, as long as he doesn't lose any time. But I think he's going to be alright, because Jorn and Jonty are still battling hard, and I mean hard, for the battle of the lead on track, which just goes to that these two are definitely the dark horses of this Baku race so far. So this is going to get very exciting. Will both of them pit at the same time? We will see soon.
Yeah, Jorn is just, and I mean literally just on the limit for DRS. I think he's already passed the detection zone. Oh, that was it there. I think he might have actually missed out on DRS. He has.
Bremmel's right behind. Bremmel's is right behind as well. Jorn's going to lose another position, but Bremmel's almost hit the wall. Bremmel's is going to take the inside, and surely Bremmel's is going to get P2 from Jorn. Maybe not. Jorn defends that nicely. Again, almost off the track. Bremmel's getting a better exit going into turn 3, but Jorn is going to have DRS going into that entry. So it is going to be insanely close. Zerd is in the pits. He's going onto the hard sides, and everyone else is pitting.
Oh!
Jorn, sorry, he's going to get the inside line again. And he's done it this time. He still holds on to P2. My, oh my, that was close. I think Bremmel's caught Jorn napping, but Jorn has responded to that and woke himself up and still battling really hard.
Yeah, he has done a really good job to pull himself back into P2, especially in the crucial area of the track. If you release Buemmels will take off. He is absolutely flying at the minute to get himself back up into this running for the race win, remember. This is now an opportunity that he cannot afford to pass up. And so Jorn holding Buemmels back does obviously give a lot of benefit to Jorn, and they kept it so clean throughout the entirety of that battle. Jonty, though, has managed to gain the additional second that he... So remember, when we saw the detection line, Jorn was a second behind Jonty just about. Now, after a few corners, we saw Jorn fall back to 2.3 seconds being the gap between the two of them, and now Jonty is comfortably ahead and doesn't have to worry about DRS. Jorn, however, has managed to really chuck in some pace. He's now brought himself just on the limit of the DRS gap between him and Buemmels. Is Buemmels going to be able to get the DRS? I think the detection line's there. He's outside of it, which means he will not have DRS to attack Jorn. Jorn delivered exceptional pace in that final sector, and now you're seeing Jorn start to break that gap between him and Buemmels.
Yeah, but he's picked up the pace a little bit. He doesn't want to be caught napping, really. And while it's still going on, I'm not sure if it's going to affect the race, but Nick Turner's just received a 3-second in-game penalty, so I think it must have been corner cutting. So if he's not able to pull that gap as he needs, the race win could be threatened by. But we'll have to wait and see. He's probably good at pulling up the gap anyway, but you never know with Nick Turn. We could have Jonty and Jorn probably battling with him as well, so this could cost him. We haven't seen what caused that penalty, but he's got an in-game penalty anyway, so only time will tell what's going to happen. But Falsetti and Martin G are still having a little bit of a scrap as well, so they're still having battles pretty much out of this race, with a few people still yet to pit.
Do you think we're actually going to get an opportunity to breathe in this race? Because it's just been non-stop attack action. I'm loving to see the way that they're overtaking in every area of the track. Areas I didn't think was even possible. Like right now, Martin G is sizing up Forseti. Forseti's having to go defensive in towards turn 5. It does mean he's going to have a better line going through turn 6. Whereas Martin G now has a better exit through the corner. So Forseti's really trying to hold him back there. Again, going defensive. Nowhere for Martin G to go. He's having to be given up a good wobble. And actually Forseti makes a mistake. Here comes Martin G now in towards Castle. He's got the position gained, and Martin G really baited Forseti there into that position. Martin G benefited massively from that. He's been released now in towards to P12, sorry, and he's going to have to really start pushing if he wants to bring himself back up into the top 10.
It is a shame for Forseti. He is starting to struggle. He was in P2 of the race, and now he's pretty much dead last, which is a bit of a shame. And I do see a Mercedes slowing down. That might be Martin G. No, but I think he's back on the track, so it's all right. We've got Yonti, Bremels, and Mizzo in the pits then. So we have to wait and see up behind Nick Turn. I think Nick Turn goes ahead of these guys, so Nick Turn is going to be comfortably in the lead there, but Yorn stays out. Is that what he wants to do, or does he want to make sure he challenges for the win? I don't know. I haven't seen how powerful the undercut might be there, but it might be very powerful for Nick Turn. So probably Nick Turn's made the right decision going when he did, but obviously the mediums do last a bit longer than the softs, but we'll have to wait and see as Martin G's out. Oh,
yeah.
What's happened there?
Well, he's just retired from the set. He drove into the pit lane. He drove in. Oh, I'm watching him. He's driven into the pit lane and just retired immediately in the pit lane. I'm not sure why. He didn't have any issues. His wing was fully intact. He decided to then get it repaired. Interesting. I would love to hear from him to understand what it was that made him want to retire from the session or not. However, he is out. He is in P16. And so no points will be gained for Mercedes, at least from Martin G's side of things. We are, however, seeing Zerd there in P8. So still some points on the table. The one person I want everyone to pay very firm attention to is my prediction of Yoltek, remember. I did put him in the top 3. And he is currently still on the same ties he started the race with, but he will be transitioning from the hards to the mediums, and when he does, he will be absolutely flying. If he does stay on the mediums. I think he should. I don't think he should try and push the hards to go into the softs. I think he'd be making a big mistake if he did. However, I can only wait and see what his plan is going to be, whereas race leader now, Jon, is in the pits, and at Nickturn will resume race lead again.
Yep, there we go then. So Nick Turn got the undercut right, and there must have been something that was going on, I think, between Beaker and Forseti, as Forseti's lost his front wing, and he's going to go into the pits after that. So didn't quite catch the incident. Hopefully they got their POVs to show later, but that was very fortunate for Forseti there, as he's got to change his front wing and dive it into the pits for another stop. I'm not sure what tire he's going to go on. He might be forced to go on to another set of hards, or might go on to get mediums and then softs again. You never know. When he goes on to a set of mediums, ooh, I wonder if that's going to get to the end of the race. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's going to easily make it to the end of the race on the mediums. It's just, how hard is he going to push now? Is he going to push himself into an oblivion? Is he going to push so hard that he's going to either destroy the tires and then eventually destroy his entire race? I mean, it'd be really sad because he's, like I say, he started in P2. He had a really good qualifying session. It just didn't work out when it came down to the race. He was fine on the stop, and there was contact, and he lost his wing, and now he had to pit again, and that one pit stop alone just cost him. He's right down there in 15th place with a 13.5 second gap to the two drivers ahead of him. And yeah, they are yet to pit, but still, it's not looking good if you're in his position.
Yeah, which is a shame for Forseti, but hopefully he can recover. But meanwhile, we still got more battles and scraps right now. At the moment, this is shaping up to be pretty much a really good end to this race, a good second stint. As we got the and of Mizzo right on the back of Bremels once again. I think Bremels has been in battles all the time. And also Bremels is also chasing Gooby. I'm going to see. I think Bremels is closing up to Gooby more than Mizzo is catching up to Bremels as well. Yorn and Browning's going into the pits as well. But let's watch Bremels and Gooby. It's going to be almost free wide going into turn 1. This is going to be mighty. Who's going to gain advantage this time? It's going to be Mizzo, who gets a double overtake from both of them. Both Bremels, Gooby.
Oh, Zed.
Oh no,
Zerd-
what happened to Zerd?
Zerd locked up massively going in towards turn 2, and he just ran into the runoff area. There was nothing he could do there, and he loses 3 places just from that one mistake because all 3 of these drivers are so close together. But Mizzo, with the incredible DRS slipstream overtake on both drivers, manages to get down the inside in towards turn 1. There was nothing either of them could do about it, is try and defend him. So Mizzo up now into P5. Good stuff from him. Hazard is coming to the pit, so that means that Falsetti's claimed a place as a result of that. And now we are going to be seeing Gooby falling away a fair bit. Those 13 lap all hards are not working out for him. Buemels is right here on the back of Mizzo. Mizzo now going to be feeling the pressure coming from that Renault. And remember, Renault nowadays, they have the 1,000 brake horsepower. It does mean that on the home straight, they should be faster. Although in this game, they're on equal performance.
Yeah, imagine what they'll be like in real life, but some interesting notes to tell you about how many people have gained so far. Mizzo's gained the most on 12. So Mizzo, we do know Mizzo is very good, better in the race than in qualifying. We did see it in the Rwagnation League last year as well. We've seen the case of that as well. So I'm not really that surprised, but I thought he would do worse in Baku. But tonight, he's absolutely flying, and he's able to challenge Bremels, which is good to see. But we got Yeltek into the pits then, and he's hit the pit. Whoa, okay.
Buemels is coming. Buemels is past him. Mizzo now is not able to do anything about the fact that Buemels has just gone straight on past him. Actually, Mizzo may have actually broke a little bit too late there. No, he kept it together. Actually fine. So Buemels is up now into P4. Very simple, very easy overtake. Nothing too severe to worry about there. Want to check out Yoltek's situation. He is stuck in the pits and his teammate's right there behind him. He's now in. And there's another wing there for him as well.
Yep, he's in P11, so he's going to be outside the points. So probably if he didn't hit the wall there, he might have gained a few more positions, but we will never know. And it is a bit of a shame unless other people make mistakes around him. But technically, he hasn't dropped any positions because obviously he started P11 and he is P11 at the moment. So if he gains any more, then that will still be not a bad result. But knowing him, he wants those points.
Yeah, he wants that good result. He deserves that good result. He's really fast. We just made that one mistake. To have such a flawless race up until that one point. That's what makes F1 so entertaining, right? You make one slight mistake and you're going to damage your wing or whatever on a track like this. You can't just ride it out and just carry on doing as you were. That will cost you a lot of time. So he had to check. I mean, he was in the pits anyway when he did the damage. So which is obviously the best situation to be in if you're going to have damage on your car. But it does mean then he's going to fall back to where he was before, and now the charge is on. The good news for him, though, is that all of the drivers in front of him are actually pretty close together, except when you get to the top of all. That's when you start to see the gaps really start to form. Speaking of gaps, Buemels has managed to break the DRS range of Mizzo, so Mizzo now is not going to be able to use that to close himself back in on Buemels, and Buemels is going to be able to just keep on driving hard and driving away.
Yeah, Buemels has definitely shined so far, and so is Mizzo. I know the two definitely contenders of driver of the day, and I think Yeltek and Copy are fighting again. I think Yeltek managed to get past Copy in the start-finish straight then, and he's now up into the points now. So he's now going to try and catch Brownie, which is 1.1 seconds behind him. So he's almost in DRS range. Can he get into DRS range soon? He's on fresher tyres and softer tyres as well. So he's going to catch up very quickly indeed to the Ferrari of Brownie. So I wonder what's going to happen here. He's just got so much great corner speed and he's committing as well. So this is the Yeltek that we really want to see deliver, and he is starting to deliver towards the end. We've got 10 laps to go, and I hope Yeltek gets past Brownie because this will be good enough for him. But I don't think he's going to have a go just yet because these next few corners are very tricky.
Yeah, very tight, very tricky, and no space at all for him to even try and do that. I mean, we saw earlier Martin G, who did a beautiful overtake on Falsetti, really sold him the fake and then just went round, and that was it. Job's good. And Yeltek obviously not really in a position to be able to try that. He's not close enough just yet, but he is just within that DRS range. He's actually slowly reeling Brownie in. If he can keep the gap how it is right now, then yeah, easily he's going to be in a position where he can go for the DRS. He's not necessarily going to be able to do the attack, although he brought that gap right down now. He's right on the back of Brownie. Brownie making mistakes there through that corner. This is going to give Yeltek the opportunity now to slipstream, DRS him all the way down the home straight. Needs to make sure that his final corners are very tidy, and it is. Brownie runs just a touch wide, but this is Yeltek slipstreaming through now. Mode 4 on the ERS and the wing wide open here means he will take P9 away from Brownie. And Brownie, is that Brownie in the pits? I think it was.
that's
Yeah, Brownie's
Brownie
in the pits.
Okay. He's only been on those meters for 3 laps, so was there an incident between him? I don't know. Yeah, it is his front wing change. So he must have banged a wall somewhere or got caught in something, I don't know. We won't know until the end of the race, sadly. So that, I think, is Brownie is going to start to catch up, but he's got medium runners behind him and in front of him, so he's going to have a very difficult end to the race. But we have seen weird things happen before and surprises as well, but he's going to have a tough time to try and get into the points. Meanwhile, Gooby set the fastest lap, so he's already stealed a point for all the top 10 at the moment, which is a good tactic, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Yoltek is in a position now where he is the fastest of those that started on the hard compound tyres by a good margin as well. He's really, really out there. The thing to think about, though, is that Yoltek now is having to catch up to the back of Beaker. He's already done that. He's now got himself into a DRS range of him, and he's not that far off of just chilling. So he will be in a position where he can attack, and everybody in front of him is on the hard compound tyre. So as long as Yoltek doesn't make a mistake, as long as he keeps it clean enough, I think we're going to see him climb a fair few places. I think P6 might actually be on the table for him here.
Yep, and he's already gained, I think, a few temps that sector already, and he's absolutely flying around this straight here, and he's already in DRS of Beaker, but I think he's a bit too further back to make the move on this occasion. But maybe in the next DRS straight in turn 3, where you can see Yeltek really start to come alive. So we will just see what happens with the battle between Beaker and Yeltek. Just look at how much time he's gained in that corner alone. So he's going to get more grip going into turn 2 and then turn 3. Beaker's lost DRS to just chilling, so he's not going to gain advantage on that. So what is Yeltek going to go? Is he going to try and challenge to the inside or to the outside? He's going to try going for the line that he wants to, and Beaker, I think, manages to defend and knew where he was going, so I think Beaker just about holds on. But Yeltek is still charging up, though. He knows he's on newer tyres. He knows that he wants to get past him, and he knows he doesn't want to get holed up. So the sooner he gets past Beaker, the sooner he can challenge his next victims. Just chilling and third.
Yeah, it's really close between these drivers. And again, same situation as we saw earlier when Falsetti was defending up there in P2. Oh, Beaker's made a mistake. Oh! Big crash there. Yoltek manages to just about avoid it. I don't think he... Oh, no. Yoltek has damage. The left end plate has been taken out there. Beaker making a mistake into Castle means he will really fall apart. He's got no front wing at all. So it's going to be a limping Ferrari round back into the pits. He's going to need to really keep it steady as we go through the mini ping pong and then the actual ping pong. But realistically, you can sign Ferrari out of this race. There is no way now that they're going to get points under their pocket. But Yoltek has been injured in this charge through the pack to see if he can deliver. I don't think it's really affecting him, though.
It could have been worse. I think he's only got more damage, but he'll probably go into the pits anyway just to be safe. No, he's probably not. So I think he got away with it only just. He was close to getting damage from Beaker, I think. So, yeah, I think Beaker's going slowly at the moment. I wonder if he's going to go into the pits and give up, or if he's going to go into the pits and just try and go on the softs and just get that fastest lap. I hope he gets stuff. I hope he goes and tries on the softs and goes for the fastest lap, because at the moment, I think only the reserves have got the points for Ferrari at the moment. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we want to see the full times get points, but unfortunately, I think we're not going to see that this race, which is a shame.
Yeah, but he has got softs on that car at the minute. I mean, he does really have to sort of control himself and bring himself back together. He does have the opportunity to push himself up there, but Yoltek is being injured by the fact that he has that left end plate damage. He's not catching up to the back of just chilling, and he is actually being caught up by Copy in the Williams. So Williams are looking good, and Nixon's currently sat up there in P1, and he's 8.3 seconds clear of Yonti. So your P1 prediction is looking dead on the nose here, whereas Copy is trying to bring himself back up the placings and get himself some extra points. He is down 3 places from when he started at the beginning of this race. Mizzo is obviously being... Oh, that was a corner cut there from Copy. That won't help him at all. But
That'll
yeah.
probably be another warning, I think.
Yeah, he's got to keep himself together, because if he makes that mistake one more time, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up with a penalty. I'm sure I've seen him do that 2 or 3 times already. Well, twice, obviously, because he's not yet had a penalty.
No, but we're seeing I think the only penalty we've seen out of the runners so far, because obviously we had Rainbow on lap 1, and then it was Nick Turn on lap 10. I think the others we haven't seen. Have we got Copy trying to make a move past Yeltek? I think Yeltek was caught napping just a little bit as he was trying to find a way to defend from Copy. So he's going to try and see if he can try and hold on to P8 as Copy has pulled out a mega stint there. But is he going to get the jump on Yeltek going into turn 4 potentially? Yeltek covers to the inside. She does beautifully. And I think P8 is still going to go Yeltek.
I mean, Yoltek is pretty much going to try and just scrap to hold on to P8 now. To say he was looking like he was in a position where he could really have pushed up, and I think it wasn't even his fault, really. It was Beaker that made the mistake in Castle that took that left end plate off of Yoltek's car. He couldn't avoid him at all. He just had to try and just slip through the gap and pray that Beaker would be still buried in the wall out of the way. And yeah, unfortunately, it's just not working at all for him now. He's almost broke the DRS, though. He's actually brought himself in a position where... Hey, there you go, he's broke it.
No, oh, he's back again. They keep switching, so Copy is finding some time somehow, but it's going to be too little too late for him as he's got 5 more laps to do it to make sure he gets past Yeltek. And the question is, I don't think Yeltek's going to get past just chilling, mainly because Yeltek is trying to defend from Copy, so P8 may be the best for him right now, but that will still be a very good result for the Racing Point driver. I almost called him Force India, but I didn't. So
Yeah,
thank goodness for that.
It is a tough one to remember. It is so natural to just say Force India after all the years, obviously, that they've been in this. Well, a couple of years they've been in the sport. Copy though right here on the back of just Yoltek, sorry, again, but Yoltek makes a big mistake there. Actually, this is going to bring Copy into the mix now. As in turn 1, you can see Copy going through the inside. Now in turn 2, he's got the inside. Yoltek is just going to have to let him go, but he does have DRS to help him try and recover this position. Yoltek does seem to be running a lot less wings than the other drivers on the track, which is why he's able to do what he's doing right now, which is going through the inside in towards turn 3. It's going to be side by side as they come through, and that's going to be nicely done there. Copy's still there, ready for the inside line into towards turn 4, and I think he's going to get it back, but it's not stopping anytime soon, as again, into turn 5, Yoltek will have the inside line. I'm waiting for them to come around the corner, and there he is. So Yoltek still holds on to P8, but the time between him and just chilling is just getting bigger and bigger, and there is nothing more that we can do here for Yoltek. He just has to hold on for dear life and keep Copy behind him. When it comes to the DRS straight, he is faster, but Copy is just not able to get past him and hold on to that position.
Yep, as long as the guys are not caught napping, they should be alright. So hopefully Yeltek just can keep Copy behind him, because otherwise Copy can...
Oh no!
Oh, that was a big mistake from Yeltek. That's Copy has gone past him. So I think that's another position lost, I think. So Copy made the decision to go past him a little bit earlier than we thought we would because of Yeltek's mistake. And that's now Yeltek down into P9. And he's already lost massive time. He is struggling just a little bit. And I think he's going to have it. He's going to find a really hard time on these final couple of laps. He hasn't even got DRS, and he's going into the pit, and he's going to go on, I think, fit the soft tyres, and he's not even going to get into the points, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if he does, it's going to be a miracle. It's going to be so difficult. He's going for the softs. He's got no choice. The wing damage as well, obviously having to be replaced, means he does have to wait quite a while in the pit lane. Now dropped to P13. Won't lose to P14 as Hazard is just a bit too far back for anything to change there. Oh, never mind. Actually, there he is. There's Hazard now. So Yoltek and Hazard are actually going to be pretty close together. But Yoltek, who had a really solid race throughout the majority, is now in a position where he's fallen right the way down. But we cannot take our eyes away from the rest of the drivers further up the field. As you can see, Fossetti is there with Brownie in 11th and 12th place. Yes, this is not for a points position as Fossetti goes for an inside move and it doesn't work out for him. And Brownie doesn't get injured by it at all, whereas Fossetti loses the back end, catches it and keeps himself out of the wall, no doubt about it. But he is in a position now where that is going to be a big time loss for him. He's going to have to just try his best to keep on going. and pull himself back together.
Yeah, he is doing well to go back, but mistakes like that is definitely going to cost him, and that is why Shadows and Dust, I think, is benefit for now, and having a trouble-free race as well. So that is really going to help him as much as we can. So 3 more laps to go. Not much battles happening at the front, but quite a lot of battles happening for the back, not really for points, and we still see Hazard and Yeltek still fighting for win. Yeltek's tyres, I think Yeltek's going to try and get past his lap, so really he's got to get past Hazard really soon if he wants to do that. And the moment the person that's got the fastest lap is Beaker, so...
Yeah, and they're the only drivers that actually... Oh, sorry, there's another driver as well, Gooby. So Gooby, Yeltek, and Beaker, they're the only ones who've got the fastest in the 141s. Here comes Yeltek now down the home straight. These two were racing against each other on the time trial boards just a few days ago in the simulation room, but now they are racing physically on the track. And Yeltek, keeping the trend true to his name, he is ahead now of Hazard. Obviously, he does have the softer compound tyres, so we're being a little bit unfair. However, Yeltek is now in 13th place and pushing hard to try and bring himself up onto Fossetti.
That was almost another slide. That was close from Yeltek.
Yeah, just a tad. He almost put himself in the wall again, and that'd have been more damage lost. I mean, that's the thing about this track. It just takes a little mistake where you can lose an end plate. You lose one end plate, and you're going to lose another end plate. You lose another end plate, and you're in a position where you're going to end up losing the race.
Yeah, but that's not where you want to be, and especially where points are at stake. And don't forget, this season of Rwagnation League is longer than last season. Obviously, last season was shorter due to the new F2019 game coming out a few months earlier than we were expecting, but they have a little bit more of a chance to get some more points this season, have a little bit, so they can afford to have a few scrappy races, but not a lot really. I think Shadow and Dust, I think, has just lost it somewhere, not quite sure who.
He basically he's backed off. Look, if you look at his throttle bar, he's not pushing at all. I think he's had enough of his race. His tyres are pretty dead. Does he have a puncture? Oh, he's got a puncture. His rear left is punctured.
Rear left.
That's what his problem is. He's trying to keep himself together. So Shadows and Dust just taking it a little bit too far on those hard compound. I mean, he did have to pit early on, but we can see that he just took it too far for him. P14 is where he is right now. He's likely going to hold on to P14 as Beaker is just a bit too far back for him to really capitalise. There he is, actually. Oh, big wobble there from Shadows and Dust. He's managed to keep himself out of the wall, but Yeltek, with more disaster and drama, gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting again. And that now means that even if he passes... He also got a penalty.
Oh, right, did he? Oh, sorry.
He's also chasing Fossetti there. Yeah. Is he
got past Fossetti? Yep, he did.
Yeah, cleanly enough as well, actually. I thought it was going to be an issue for him through that sector, but no, he's kept it together. Still keeping himself going. Shadows and Dust is in the pits now, is managing to actually get his car there. Fossetti and Yeltek will be scrapping throughout this lap. Fossetti is on 11-lap-old mediums, but actually, looking further up the field, we're actually seeing a battle going on now for P3. Boimels is within DRS range of Jorn, and we've seen what Boimels can do in this situation. This is actually going to be a really good sort of pace from him. I think we might actually see a battle for P3 on the final lap.
Yeah, we would. Is you're trying to move out of the way from the really slow Hass of Shadows and Dust, which might have compromised him a little bit. I think also he's trying to get a little bit of heat into his tyres as well. But it looks like we could see a spicy end between Bremels and Jorn for the final podium spot, because it will mean everything to them. They've tried so hard this race, and they both deserve recommendation. Mizzo too. Mizzo has pulled a really good performance. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to catch up to Bremels again, but Mizzo should definitely be commended for his performance. But Bremels is managing to perform under pressure, and can he perform one last time under pressure when it counts, with only 1.5 laps to go? In my opinion, I think he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Jorn has driven an exceptional Baku Grand Prix today. I want to see this more often from him, because he has had the pace, especially in the qualifier. He was really quick in the qualifier. However, the person that's chasing him, Boimels, has been exceptional in 2019. He is right on the back now of Jorn, but now is a predicament for Buemos to think about. If he passes Jorn here, he will have to worry about DRS from Jorn on the next lap, which is the final lap. So Jorn might have the opportunity to take the position back from him and get the podium. Jorn realistically needs to think about this and work out, do I want to let him pass anyway? He's gone defensive on the inside, but realistically, it's nothing more than just giving him that position, letting Buemos go. Jorn is right on the back of him now as we come up towards turn 2. It needs to be a good exit from Jorn if he's going to try and take the position back from him on this lap. Otherwise, he's going to have to wait for the home straight. We are on the final lap. Race leader in Nick Turn has gone through turn 3, is very cozily ahead, does have the 3-second time penalty, but it's not going to affect him. However, it's all eyes locked on this P3 spot, as Jorn could very easily take this.
Yep, he's not giving up. And don't forget, the race is not over till the checkered flag falls. And if any one of those drivers make a mistake, that can ruin all 26 laps of hard craft and action, really. So I want these guys to be battling really hard, and hopefully they won't make too many mistakes as much as possible as well. So, and also Rebels getting a bit of time to Yonti, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So Jorn's just got to find the time. Oh, that was close.
Buemos got wing damage. Buemos on the exit of Castle damaged his right end plate, so there is no end plate on the right side for Buemos. I want to just get that confirmed. Yeah, I've just seen it. There is no end plate on the right side for Buemos, which now means Jorn is right here on the back. We need to come back to that. Yeah, Just Chilling is out of this race, but look at Jorn now. This is it. Yeah, Nick Turn will take the race win. We know this, and it looks like Yonti will take P2, but Jorn is in a position here where he has to commit. He has to give everything here in order to get back onto Buemos. DRS range is there. The wing is going to be open, but I think it might be too little too late. As we come up to the final stretch, it's going to be close now, as Jorn is pushing as hard as he can, but it will be Buemos who crosses the line in P3. Jorn takes a very close P4, but there's still battle going on as Zerd is coming up against Mizzo now as they come through on the home straight, and Zerd will gain that position on Mizzo. P5 is going to go to Zerd. Mizzo taking 6th place with Copy taking 7th. Gooby will eventually come across the line in 8th, and Yoltek does get himself back into the points position, but P9 is where he's going to sit.
What an excellent race. So much action happening from start to finish, and possibly one of the cleanest Baku races that I have ever seen. I was expecting more carnage, more contact, but it just goes to show these drivers have a lot of respect for each other. So I got to commend, and the only penalties that were in game were only a few. There wasn't a lot. Nick Turn got one, Rainbow got one, I think another person got one as well. No one else. So, well done to these guys. If this happens for the rest of the season, then we are going to be in for a very close battle. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I thought Baku will be penalty central, but obviously not. But Nick Turn, it's a win. Very well deserved, obviously, and he benefited from the restart, and I was able to make the soft to hards work, which is literally impossible for other people, me included. I find the soft to hards difficult on this game, so I don't know how Nick Turn does it.
Yeah, well, it's consistency, isn't it? That's one thing you can always count on at Nick Turn. He does have that level of consistency. So, something else to remember though is that, yes, he did cross the line, and yes, he did take P5 physically on the track, but that 5-second time penalty he got earlier for the collision he had with Buemos will be added to him, so it does mean he will lose that place, and Mizzo will gain P5 as a result. And considering where he started at the beginning of this Grand Prix due to that qualifying ban, he's done a really, really good job of bringing himself up there. But the question I have to ask you, Jess, probably the most important question of the day for you is, who's the driver of the day?
Got to be Brambles, without a shadow of a doubt, as he's been involved in quite a few battles, managed to gain some positions on the track. He was committed. He wasn't giving up every battle he was doing, and even though some of the collisions he was, it wasn't his own fault, but he was able to challenge on even with that right damage. So yeah, I'll have to give it to Brambles.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I agree. I think absolutely, Buemos deserved it. He did really, really good job to get himself into the position he was in, especially after being rotated by Zerd earlier on in the race. However, here is the rundown at the end of that Grand Prix. And Nick Turn does take the race win with 25 points to his pocket, and Yonti will take a very good solid P2. Buemos comes across in 3rd place after the, like I say, the incident and the really close battle he had with Jorn, who does very, very closely come behind in 4th place. Zerd takes 5th. Before the penalty is applied, he will lose that place to Mizzo, who will eventually take 5th from him. So it will be 5th and 6th, Mizzo and Zerd. Copy takes 7th, Gooby in 8th, with Brownie taking 9th, and Yolte bringing himself just within the points in 10th place. Best of the rest is Hazard in 11th place, with Falsetti taking 12th. We did lose a fair few other drivers, but we did manage to keep Beaker in this race. He is going to take 13th place, and it's not necessarily going to be a point, but he did take fastest lap, which obviously it's not awarded to anyone, but he took it away from those in the top 10, which is crucial if he's going to try and pull it back later on in this in the Drivers' Championship. The DNFers were Just Chilling, Shadows and Dust, Martin G, and Rainbow, and I have heard exactly what happened to Martin G. He was running too low suspension on his car. He went over a bump and damaged his wing twice throughout that Grand Prix. But that is it from us here in the Rwagnation League. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me has been Jess Games 95. Thank you so much, Jess, for commentating with me at the very last second, and also for stewarding, because you are very much involved in this league, and you are a very core factor of it. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week, where we come back for the Spanish Grand Prix.